Never let a man come over to your house after a first date. And if you used to do that, you're not gonna do that after this story time. Let's go. I also forget to mention that it's a true story time. Yeah, let us begin. The story starts off with this young girl. She goes on a first date with this guy. They go out to get dinner, and honestly, he was a green flag all throughout. Like, he was nice to the waitresses. He paid for the bill. Like, no red flags at all. This is why no matter how normal or nice a guy seems to be, you can never trust them too quickly because the story's like this. The dinner goes great, he pays the bill, and then they just go about their day and they go to their own homes. So obviously this is a respectful man, right? Like, he didn't even try to like get her to come over and didn't ask to go over to her house yet. So she goes home and then she gets a call from him, and he's basically saying how he can't find his key, his roommate is not answering the phone, and if he could just come over for the time being until either his roommate answers the phone or he finds his key somehow. And she obviously said yes because, once again, no red flags. He comes over, they're having a blast, they're just sitting on the couch, talking, vibing, and then it just gets really late, so she's like, hey, you can sleep on the couch until you figure things out, I'm gonna go to my room. And something told her to lock the door. Obviously, she lives alone, she doesn't normally lock the door, but something, an instinct. A woman's instinct is always right. So she ends up locking the door and then just going to sleep. A couple hours pass, and then she gets a knock on her bedroom door, and it's him asking for a phone charger because his died. Something told her once again, don't open the door, just tell him where it is. So she does not move, and she says, it's on the kitchen counter, like, help yourself. And he says thank you, and then he goes about his business, and then she just goes back to bed. Okay, this is where it gets a little for me. A couple minutes go by, and then he comes back and knocks on the door and says, hey, like, this charger's not working, like, do you have a charger in your room that I can borrow? Something just like raises a flag in her head, like, hey, something's wrong, why does he want to get into my room so bad? So she calls the police. After she calls the police, she hears like the door kind of opening, she hears like a bunch of commotion outside, and then a couple minutes later, the police knock on her bedroom door and say, hey, like, you're safe, he's in custody, come outside and look at your living room. Guess what she saw? Please, just pause the video. I want you guys to guess first before you actually hear what it is. So she walks out from her bedroom to her living room with the police, and she sees her whole living room fully plastered, and she just sees a box of power tools. So drills, axes, you name it, it was in that power tool box. If she left her room and she didn't use her womanly instincts, you guys, women, we're never wrong. I said what I said and I meant it. If she did not just listen to her instincts, she would have been gone. I'm so scared for women. Like, we're not safe ever, and it's really sad. I really want to know how she felt in that moment. Like, just to be like, whoa, like, I just listened to my gut, and that's the main reason I'm still alive till this day. Like, if you're watching this, I'm so proud of you, and I hope you know that. Moral of the story is, a man can be so normal, have the perfect job, and just be a walking green flag and still not be the person that you think he is. So just don't let anyone into your home. Make sure that you guys run a background check first. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.
Get ready with me while I tell you guys a really creepy story that's been happening to me lately, and I think it's still happening. Okay, as most of you guys know, I moved out about 3 months ago, and I did a whole move out series on my TikTok. So many people know I live alone now, and about a week ago I was going to Trader Joe's, and you guys, last time I had a weird story, it was at Trader Joe's too. I don't know what the heck goes on in Trader Joe's. A little backstory, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but when I was leaving my house to go to Trader Joe's, I saw a baby blue car parked right in front of my house, and I didn't think anything of it. I just saw it. When I got to Trader Joe's, I had barely even entered, like I was just grabbing a cart, and this guy stops me. He looks about to be a middle-aged man, maybe in his 40s, okay? He told me how he really likes my family's videos, and he liked my videos especially. He said he follows me on everything, and that he's emailed me before. Don't know what that email entailed, but he said that he's emailed me before, and I get really awkward in these encounters. I was just like, oh my god, thank you so much, blah blah blah. And then he asked to take a picture with me, which I did. I took a picture with him. Okay, anyway, so the whole time I'm shopping, I swear he is staring at me, and he had a black hat on, which made everything a lot more creepier. Like, it felt like he was doing this like from the corners of his eye. And you know when you just feel someone looking at you? I just felt him staring at me the whole time I was there. So towards the end of my shopping, I'm like checking out, and I start like keeping an eye out for him. Like, I wanted to know where he was because I didn't want to have to like run into him again as I was leaving, and I couldn't find him anywhere. Like, he just was nowhere to be seen, and I thought he left. I'm like, okay, he's like finally gone. At this point, I made it to my car, I put my things in the trunk, and I'm about to leave. Like, I'm in the driver's seat, and as I'm leaving, I see from a distance, I still don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but I see from a distance parked in the back of Trader Joe's, and there was a lot of empty spots in the front. It's parked in the back of Trader Joe's, that same blue car that was parked at my house. And it's not just like a normal blue car, guys. It's like a baby blue, bright blue car. Like, I don't see that color everywhere I go, you know? It still probably has nothing to do with it, but in that moment I started thinking like, oh, like what if that car is him and he like followed me here? Very next day, I get a knock on my door around like 6 p.m. and I didn't answer it because sometimes my neighbor, like kids knock on my door, they want to hang out, and like sometimes I just ignore them, okay? Next morning, I opened the door to leave and I found these at my doorstep. What? I don't have anybody to be dropping off these huge flowers at my doorstep. Like, I don't know where they came from. They look a little older in the picture because this happened a few days ago and I'm filming this now. I didn't touch those flowers. I was like, what if they're poisonous? I just left them out there and they're still outside of my house. Like, what if somebody's trying to kill me? There was also no note in the flowers. Pretty much, guys, I think I have a stalker. I don't know what to do. Should I call the police? Like, what do I do? My cats are the only thing keeping me safe at night. Hi guys, get ready with me while I tell you guys a little update on what's happening with my stalker. So in the last video, I showed you guys how he sent flowers to my door, but it gets so much worse. So right now I'm on a cruise with my family, but the day before I left, I got a knock on my door and I opened it and there was nothing outside, but then I found a note laying on the bouquet of flowers. You guys, as I was reading the note, I couldn't even finish it because it was so creepy. I just threw it on the floor and ran inside. I put a picture of what the note said on the screen. You guys can read it for yourselves. It's 101 stalker, creepy, just weird. Like, it was so creepy that it has to be a joke. Like, this has to be a prank. There's no way that somebody is creeping up on me like this. But I'm so happy because the very next day I had to leave to go on this cruise with my family. And I've been here for about 4 or 5 days and I still have a couple days left. I'm really hoping the stalker thinks I either moved out or died. Because if he's a real stalker, he's probably waiting for my every move to leave the house. And in the case that he's watching my videos, then I'm screwed. Anyway, I'm enjoying my family vacation and I'm not gonna let this stalker ruin it, so please leave me alone.
Story time of when my best friend of 8 years flew to visit me and left after one day and blocked me. This story is wild, but we're gonna have to back up a little bit. So me and this girl were virtual friends for the past 8 years. We FaceTimed almost every day, talked about everything, our secrets, our life, literally everything. We had never met in person. I know, crazy. Then she started talking to a guy from my city and she had been talking to him for a month or so. And then she was like, you know what? I'm gonna come visit you because I've been dying to meet you and I could meet him at the same time. So it'd be, you know, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I was super excited because we had tried to meet up multiple times before and it just never panned out. So I was excited to see her and be able to, you know, finally meet in person. I told her that she had to come stay with me, that there was no way she was staying in a hotel. She had to stay with me. And she made it clear, she's like, I'm coming for you, not for him, but like, you know, I'm gonna obviously spend some time with him, but I really mainly want to come for you. And I said, girl, don't worry about it. We can share you, no problem. A few days before she came, I went through something super difficult in my personal life and I was at a very bad place and I was talking to her about it because she's my friend. She asked me, she's like, do you want me to stay in a hotel if too much is going on? And I was like, no way. Like, especially in our culture, we're both Arab, it's super disrespectful if somebody comes to your city and stays in a hotel. They have to stay with you. And I saw her as like a close friend. I wanted her to be around and like my house is her house. She's like a close friend to me. She also had mentioned prior that she checked the hotel prices and they were so expensive. So obviously I was never gonna let her stay at a hotel. So a day or two later she came and I couldn't pick her up from the airport because I had a mandatory lab that I had to go to, but the guy she was talking to picked her up. So I told her that I could meet her right after class, but she said she wanted to spend the day with the guy and that she would meet up with me later. So she came, met up with me later in the evening around like 8:30, 9 p.m. and she'd been here all day, which is fine. I wanted her to spend time with the guy, see if they hit it off. We went for dinner and by that point I was getting really exhausted because I'd been up since 6 a.m. at school, so I was so tired. So we went home, we kind of got into our PJs and just like, I was tired, so I just got in bed right away, to be honest. It was like, I could tell like you're really like in a bad place and like you're not as bubbly as usual. And I'm like, yeah, like, you know, like everything I went through was super hard and I'm just struggling with it a bit. And she's like, yeah, like I hate to see you like this, like you're just so down. And I was trying my best to be as bubbly as I could for her. Like I was trying my best, but like, you know, as my friend of 8 years, like, she should be understanding of the fact that, like, you know, shit happens. Anyway, so the next morning we got up. She's like, what do you want to do today? I'm like, let's go get breakfast. Then we can go to the mall and then we can play the rest of the day by ear because I know she had dinner with her man later that day. So we go for breakfast and then we're in the car. We're about to go to the mall and she tells me, you know what? I think I'm going to actually book a hotel and leave. She told me she wanted to leave because she felt like I wasn't in a good headspace. And I told her that, like, yeah, I haven't been the best and she knows everything that went along, but, like, I really want to spend time with her. And, like, I tried to make her as comfortable as possible. I gave her own bedroom, her own bathroom. There was no guys at my house. Like, there was no other reason for her to feel uncomfortable or anything. And I told her that if she left, like, I find it super disrespectful because I opened my home to her and, like, I want to spend time with her. And it just felt like everything going on in my life, everything was going wrong. And this was just another thing that was going wrong. It just felt like in my time of need, instead of her wanting to be there for me, she just felt like I wasn't giving the vibes she wanted. So it was better to leave. And a close friend would be happy to be there with me in my hard time because we can finally be in person, not on FaceTime, and, like, we could actually be there for each other. What I went through was not something small, and, like, she completely understood. I was very transparent about everything I was going through, but she's like, I just want to leave. I just think it's best if I leave, and I made it clear that that would really upset me, and she's like, I'm leaving to respect you, but I told her that I found that disrespectful and it would make me unhappy. Anyways, an hour later, she packed her stuff and she left and she was like, tomorrow, let's please go for dinner together. Like, I don't want you to think like I don't want to spend time with you. I still do. I just think it's best if I leave. I was like, yeah, no problem. Tomorrow we can go for dinner. It was her last day. The next day, she didn't call me, didn't message me, nothing. Completely went ghost, and I didn't message her either because I was actually really upset by what she did. That last day that she didn't message me, I saw her posting that she was out with, you know, the guy she came for, clearly. If she came for him and she didn't want to spend time with me, she could have just said that. But anyways. And then the next morning, she left the country. She left and went back home. Did not hear one word from her. And what happened next genuinely shocked me to my core. She didn't reach out to me. She went back home. And then, honestly, I was super hurt because I just couldn't believe she did that to me. Like, I understand she wanted to have fun and, like, obviously she don't want to be around negative energy. But, like, I was trying my best to be happy and I was happy to spend time with her. But after 8 years of friendship, and this is the first time we meet each other, for her to do that was just so disheartening. I knew after she didn't reach out to me that there's a big chance that our friendship was over because personally I don't want to be friends with someone who clearly showed me that they don't care about me. Then I went on Instagram and noticed that she had removed me off of Instagram. Like, how rude. Like, I'm sorry, how rude. So I texted her. I was like, I'm very heartbroken that you did this. Like, I can't believe it, da-da-da. Like, I didn't swear. I was very respectful. I was like, I'm, like, honestly really upset. Like, I opened my home to you. I treated you like family. Like, I wanted to have you around. And, like, yes, I wasn't in the best place, but for you to leave me, like, I never made you feel like you had to be with me all the time. I wanted you to spend your time equally. But for you to have left because I wasn't giving the vibes that you wanted is just so hurtful, especially knowing everything that I was going through. She was like, I knew you'd rub it in my face that you opened your home to me. You didn't even pick me up from the airport. I'm like, I had a class that I couldn't miss. Like, and she's like, you're a terrible person. You're such a mean person. How are you so selfish? You wouldn't want me to have a good time. I did not want her to have a good time. She's like, I chose positivity for myself. Like, you chose no problem. I told you go out with the guy, have fun, enjoy. But I just wanted you with me, like, and for us to go out. And I wanted you to stay in my house. Like, for you to stay one night and then leave is just so disrespectful. Then you don't message me, you don't ask, because I was upset because I went through something super hard and I wasn't in the best mood. That's the way you treat me. So yeah, we're no longer friends. And that's the story. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Like, I I don't even know. And this is the finished look.
Story time about the time that a well-known influencer told me I was gross. I kid you not, you guys. I am still traumatized by this experience to this day. So a lot of you may not actually know, but I've actually been doing makeup online for almost 10 years. I started on YouTube and I absolutely adore my channel and our community. We've got almost 1 million subscribers. Now, very early into my career, probably my 2nd or 3rd year, a lot of my videos started going viral. And obviously with this comes being recognized by brands. And this amazing brand that I look up to so much actually invited me on a trip to LA. I could not believe it. I'd never been overseas in my life. And I was really young at the time and I was so nervous. Now, part of this trip also meant going to a huge makeup event. It was like this full red carpet thing and all of the massive US influencers were going to be there. So not only was it my first time going overseas by myself, it was also my first time that I was going to be around really famous people. I was freaking out. Finally land in LA. I've packed my cute little H&M outfit for the red carpet. I've done my hair, I've done my own makeup, and I'm ready to go. We get to this event and they are literally all there. All of the massive, super famous influencers. Everywhere I looked, I was fangirling. Like, I was losing my mind. And all of the influencers and all of the creators were invited to walk the red carpet and get like paparazzi photos. Like, there was a whole media wall. Like, it was a big deal. So being the lucky person that was there to represent Australia, I walked the red carpet, I took my photos, and then I was waiting off to the side. And I remember looking over to my left and seeing an influencer that I had literally been obsessed with for years. Watched every single of their videos. I'd bought every product that they'd ever collaborated on. Like, I was a diehard fan. And they were busy walking the red carpet, getting their photos done, like all of the stuff that I had just been through. And then after they were finished, they came over to join the rest of us who were all there in a big group. And this is where it really kicked off. This person had finished their red carpet appearance and they came over to join us. Now, me being this little Australian girl all by myself in this group of like huge American influencers, I went up to this person. I was literally shaking. I was sweating. I was freaking out. I was so nervous to talk to them. And I'd kind of been building up the courage while they had been walking the red carpet. So I walked up to them and I basically said, in what I feel was like a really calm way, I absolutely love your videos. I've followed your career for years. I just wanted to come over and say hi and tell you that I love you. Like, I wasn't yelling, I wasn't screaming, I wasn't being ridiculous, I was talking normally. I kid you not, you guys. This person looked through me. They looked through me and they looked me up and down and they said, ew, gross. I can't begin to tell you how much my heart broke. Now, me being the naive idiot that I was and the fact that I was so taken aback by this, I started stumbling over my words, being like, oh, I'm Nakia, I'm from Australia, I'm a YouTuber. It was almost like it went in one ear and out the other. Like, I didn't believe that it had actually just happened. And after I did that, they literally looked me up and down again, turned around and walked away. Honestly, this was like 7 years ago and to this day, I've not gotten over it. I have never felt so invisible, just like unwanted and like I didn't belong. Now, as you can imagine, I was obviously very shaken up. I took myself to the bathroom, tried to settle myself down, tried to stop myself from crying. And I was like, okay, maybe they're just having a bad day. Maybe this isn't personal. Maybe this has got nothing to do with me. Just basically making excuses. And I feel like that's something that I do all the time. I make excuses for people because in their videos, this person is not like that at all. Like, they're lovely, they're welcoming, they're very positive, they're very uplifting, they're very supportive. Everything that I expected them to be, they were literally the opposite. Now, luckily for me, we got through the rest of the evening and I didn't have to come into face-to-face contact with them. There was a cocktail party and I basically hid myself in the side of the room because I was like, I do not want to run into that person again. Like, I couldn't go through it twice. And you know how you have these experiences in life that make you just cringe when you think back of them and like, oh, and you still like full on relive it like it's actually happening. Well, it was like that for me for about 18 months. Like, every time I thought back on it, I was like, was there food in my teeth? Did I smell? Like, did I do something wrong? Like, as stupid as it was, I was blaming myself. And it wasn't until ages later when I actually brought up what happened with another influencer and they were like, yeah, Nakia, they treat everyone badly like that. That's just who they are. And I was like, what? You're kidding. Like, this whole time I thought that I'd done something wrong, but in actual fact, this person was just not a very nice person. And I guess the moral to this story is don't ever blame yourself if someone else treats you poorly. That bad behavior is on them. And also, not everybody that you love online is going to be exactly who you think they are. Like, overall, everyone is super lovely, but there are definitely some rotten eggs.